on. Let's go ahead and jump into our first big, juicy, meaty story. I'm been dying to touch this. I was thinking today when I woke up and I was kind of, browsing the good old Twitter feed, and I was just looking for something to talk about. I see Ian Miles Cheong pop in my feed, and we'll get into what exactly popped in my feed in just a moment. But I was thinking, I've had this idea in my head to do like a video, like not breaking any ground here, but just do like a comprehensive, like meaty, like compact video of just all the shit with Ian Miles Cheong, because people have done articles about him. We'll take a look at one in just a second to refresh ourselves. But I was thinking, somebody needs to compile all of this shit into just one good meaty video, and that shit needs to blow the fuck up. So that, because people who are into, like, politics, especially online, they already know, like, Cheong's full of shit. But, like, normies, tell normies, be like, hey, look at this crazy journalist who flashbangs people's dogs and, preaches free speech but gets people's Twitter accounts taken down, like my friends, And so I was thinking, it was like, if somebody, like, compiled this into one giant video, that would be pretty damaging, right? And I'm not saying that I'm going to be the one to do that, because my videos, like, I got a video, like, my shit doesn't get recommended. At least not currently. So I'm not saying like I'm the one who's gonna do this, but somebody needs to do this, right? And I figured, maybe not in a video today, but we talked about this on a podcast, because I got some information that I looked at this morning that confirmed what I've been thinking for a while, which is that this guy Cheong, Ian Miles Cheong, he's a journalist, by the way. We'll get into some of his backstory in just a moment. He's a Twitter journalist, conservative with 100,000 followers on Twitter. And if you criticize him, despite being a free speech warrior type, if you criticize him, he will get your Twitter account banned. It doesn't happen to everybody. It's not like, you say anything bad about him and you're instantly guaranteed. There is somewhat of a likelihood, depending on the circumstances, that you could get, your account banned. But it's not a, instant, case. But it does happen. And it happens enough for me to be more than just a little bit suspicious. And today I saw some information that really kind of, it basically confirms it, my suspicions, which I already basically knew were true in the first place, but this is just more concrete evidence to point to something that I've been, explaining to for a while now, especially last month, which is that Ian Miles Cheong, he has some sort of a contact with Twitter directly. Like, he's got some sort of, like, established connection to Twitter. I don't know if it's like a little dude he has at Twitter that works at Twitter that he can hit up and just be like, yo, take this guy down or whatever. I don't know if it's like that, but he has some power that not everybody else has, not the normal person has, where he can fuck you in the ass if you call him out. I've seen this happen to Twitter. I've seen this happen to the guy who's working on my website, Linus. Some of you may know him from the chat or whatever. He actually got both these guys' accounts banned, and they only got banned instantly when they called him out. Now, it could be a wide variety of reasons, all right? Just because you call somebody out and then you get banned the next day doesn't mean that they were the ones who got you banned. But it's a little sketchy. And it's even more sketchy when these guys who are getting banned, because the way it works is he doesn't get your account fully banned. He'll hit up Twitter and he'll put your account on, like, high watch down. So if you piss off Cheong, he'll basically tell Twitter, he'll be like, okay, watch this guy's account and be like super like aggressive on this guy's account until he gets like fully banned. So you call out Cheong, you get a temp ban, you come back to Twitter the next week after your temp ban expires, you start getting a bunch of temp bans until eventually you just get full out terminated. That's what happens. That's always what happens. And I've seen this happen twice now. And when it happens, their first temp ban, it will tell like the people who are getting temp banned to delete tweets to begin the countdown for when their temp ban expires. And the tweets it wants them to delete are the ones calling out Cheong. So it's just like, then you start to look at it and you're like, okay, obviously, it doesn't take a retard to figure out what's going on here. Now, before we jump into all of this, I want to take a look at an article that kind of, because some of you guys might, not be fully into this. Me and Boblox did a video about this a year ago, before either of us before I was doing this show. Actually, I think I was doing this show, but it was like really small at the time, and then Boblox only had like 10,000 subs or something. So we both did a video on it, but like we were not where we are today, and it's not like we're famous now or something, but we're like bigger today, so it might serve as a refresh. That's my point. Let's take a look at this article right here. Paste this into the old machine. We did read this in After Hours back in May, but that was almost a year ago. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Which one is my thing? Okay, there we go. I forgot what my buttons were. There we are. All right. Let's see. Cheong, the noted influence peddler, false rape accuser. Oh boy, this is sounding familiar. Keep in mind, when we read this article at first, back in like May or something, this was pre-I'm Alex stuff for us at least. So this is it's like a foreshadowing for us at least. We read this article the next month. We have the biggest story of our lives, the I'm Alex stuff. False rape accuser, swatter, doxer, former Nazi is back in the news. Unfortunately, it's not for his obituary. No Ann is called back into another position of influence, this time at the rebooted Human Events magazine. I say magazine, but I have no idea if they even... This is Ralph's article, by the way.
This is not normal, typical journalism.
You talking some shit.
I have no idea they print this bullshit anymore.
Yeah, fucking blood
rape accuser. Like, I don't know if any journalist would talk like this typically, but
Ira Prostate in the chat says former Kumite cause. Is that true? I don't know. Alright, let's get into the juice and shit. Let's fucking get into the big juicy memes. Let's see. You have to hand it to Cheong on some level, though. Despite being a complete scumbag general waste of oxygen, he somehow keeps stumbling into these prime jobs in conservative/alternative media. Think about it. Just a few short minutes ago, Mr. Cheong was trying to get Andy Warski killed by Canadian police through an act of terrorism known as swatting. There is audio evidence of this act. It's not a rumor or a hunch. You can listen to Cheong freely admit to his criminality here. Let's dive deep into this. This is a Memeology video. I actually have a story related to Memeology, but I don't know if he's ready to run it yet. I'll have to talk about that on the Wednesday show. Maybe get him on there. But that's neither here nor there. Memeology. Okay, Gator in the chat's confirming Ann was a co-host for like a week or two. Damn! Fucking long-lasting job there. Oh, he lasted...
Yeah, even Tonka got tired of shit, dude.
I think Leslie being a co-host on this show, she lasted like 3 times longer than Ian lasted on the Kumite. Jesus.
Damn. Yeah, she was on the show for way too long.
Yeah, she was on... I think she lasted like 6 weeks, and we were already just like, oh my god, how did we survive for 6 weeks? The moment we kick her off the show, the average viewership goes from like 60 viewers to like 500, and it's just like, okay, well...
500.
Yeah, it's like 500 people just sitting there waiting for us to kick her off
they
the
were
show.
waiting.
They were just like, please, God, this show can... if you just kick this one person off, we'll finally tune in. All right, let's read this Memeology shit. Days ago, Andy Warski got swatted by Ann Cheong.
I just had 2 police officers, 2 detectives interrogate me and search my house. I allowed them to search my house, so they didn't find anything.
What the hell happened to Warski, by the way? He came back last month, and then he dipped again.
Information from the caller was information that you have. It's funny how you tried getting me pretty much arrested or worse, and you've done this before to Wild Goose, who you got his dog killed with a flashbang. Luckily in Canada, they don't SWAT. They investigate.
Because Canadians are pussies.
So thank you for
we don't accidentally die to swatting, so that's good.
That's fucking badass, dude. You die from a fucking swat. You die because of your internet fucking trolling ability.
Dude, you literally go to war, dude.
Yeah, dude, we go to war.
Launch an attack, dude. They
die for our trolling.
Us, dude.
You guys, the police come over and they fucking like tap your ass or something, and they leave. It's just like, all right.
Trying to ruin my life, and it's pretty obvious it's you. You've done this many times to people. You've told me that you're fine with people being swatted or doxxed.
Now we got a full-on confession from Ann. Keemstar got the audio. Oh, this is weird looking at like Keemstar tied back to all this back when you used to go.
Yeah, Keemstar used to talk about IBS a lot. I think this was like the last major IBS thing he like consistently talked about on Twitter.
I think there was somebody at Hippies or something, and he probably was like, all right, I gotta chill for a minute, you know, before they take my ass down a notch. Because this was remember when like earlier last year, his Twitter account was suspended. But of course, you know, Keemstar has contacts, so he was able to get it back up and running. But he was suspended at least 2 times, like last year or so, or maybe it was like 2018. But yeah, they were trying to gun him down, but he survived.
Yeah. Also, to be fair to Keem, like IBS kind of died down after the situation. This was like the last big like IBS situation. In
And
my
it can
opinion, was
stay
Email
dead.
Cheong.
It can stay dead.
Yeah.
I used to be one of these people who was like, man, those days were so entertaining. Yeah, it can stay dead. All right, fuck that shit, dude.
In hindsight,
I like
it was
how
kind of entertaining, but like
in hindsight, it was entertaining. But I kind of like how stuff is now, where people, you know, because like the way it is now, people have to rely on their own like abilities to carry their shows now. Whereas before, like you had a bunch of shows that on their own they were shit, but like they were only big because like other people coming on now. Nowadays, you kind of have to like carry your own weight now, which is resulted, in my opinion, at least better shows.
Yeah.
So IBS can fucking fuck off, stay dead. I mean,
Yeah,
elements
kind
of
of
it can come back. I like debates, but that's not the same thing. Like, what
yeah,
people
I
want
mean,
back-
those have existed before IBS.
Yeah.
I guess there's like entertaining
other
elements you can
communities,
take from it and utilize. I mean, here we definitely have people.
In
fight
my
it out
opinion, there's a
occasionally,
difference
but-
between like, you know, the debates. I fucking love all the debates and shit. The one they did recently with Ricada and that other guy, I enjoyed that one. But like, yeah, debates they can stay, but like the whole like culture behind it, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's play this shit. Oh shit, I forgot this is a Memeology video, so I actually have to read. I was just sipping my coffee, kind of listened to the music, but then I remember I have to read this. Alright, Cheong admits to the swatting. He told the police Worski had drugs and firearms, which is why the swatting happened. They didn't find anything because those were false allegations. What the fuck is this music? I like Memeology's new music way better. Here's Cheong confessing and giving bullshit excuses as to why Swarovski. The best part of this story, and I really hope there's people in here who are like have no idea what we're talking about, so that they can get like become like immersed in the lore. But the best part about this story was we found out because he was like hitting up like e-girls. Like Cheong, for those of you who don't know, he's like a massive simp, dude. He's like the king of all simps. Which is funny because most simps, like the stereotype is that they have like no followers or just some like random dude. He's got like 100,000. He's verified. He's like this big journalist, but he's still like a simp at the end of the day. He's like a massive simp for these e-girls. And so he's hitting this one girl up, and he thought the ultimate way to get in the pants was to talk about how, yeah, I swatted Andy Worski, dude. I was fucking, you know, I straight up fucking, you know, sent the cops to his house. I told him that he was part of the alt-right. He had fire weapons and stuff. He's dangerous and stuff like that. And it's like, what girl wants to hear about this, right? Like you can only go so much. Like when you're talking to a girl and you're talking about the stuff you do online, there's only like so much you can say that's not just complete cringe already. And to go to this, like, wait a minute, what do I talk about? Do I tell her about all my articles, my accomplishments or something and stuff like? Now let me talk about, you know, the other week when somebody triggered me, so I fucking sent cops to his house. I'm sure she's gonna love that story, dude. It's gonna be a good old riveting tale. What is a simp? A simp is like a fucking thirsty dude who fucking like is like, you know, trying to talk to e-girls and get their attention, but it just doesn't work. That's basically what a simp is.
Thing out saying that she's gonna make a video on me. That's really.
I can't believe that's how we got the audio of this. He was like, "Girl, look, I swat Andy Worski. Yeah, I'm pretty big
And
shit. You know, suck my cock after this one."
Yeah, exactly. And she sent it to Keemstar instead. Dude, man's got completely, like, he didn't just get blue-balled. He got completely, like, anally raped from this.
I did not need to see that. I'm more than happy to just let him leave me alone. But he forced my hand, so I called the police.
He forced my hand. I had to do it, guys. I'm not, you know, I didn't want to do this. I had to do this. There was just no other option.
I actually called the police on him. I know what he does. I know he has illegal firearms. I know that he is deeply entrenched in the alt-right. I know that he has a lot of cocaine in his house. Yeah, he's fucked. He's fucked. I even talked to them on the phone. So, who knows? Maybe they'll pay him a visit very soon.
Alright, so that's the audio there. That's basically Memeology's video. There was another part of the audio. I don't know if he has this in the article here. If we can scroll down. There was another part. I think... Okay, yeah, this is the second part. This shit is funny right here. So he... You know, he says that to the girl, but there's actually, like, more audio. Alright, this one was only 30 seconds long. I hope this is what I want.
And hopefully soon the Mississauga police will be paying him a nice little visit. I told them that he was
Nice
armed
little
and
visit.
dangerous, because he is. He's got guns, and that he's prone to bouts of schizophrenia and bouts of violence. So he might be in for a treat. It's all true, by the way. He is prone to all these things, so that's not just me trying to get him killed.
All right. Let me explain this to you guys. If you're lost in the sauce right now, let me just fill you guys in, all right? This guy had a YouTube channel, a gaming YouTube channel. They were going full bunting with the gamer. They had a gaming channel. It was called Hype Break, and it was with Andy Worski and Ian Miles Cheong. So they did this gaming channel. They made gaming videos. It was fucking epic. All right. What ended up happening is, I'm trying to remember this. So some DMs were leaked, basically. I think Failure was like showing like one of Andy Worski's buddies was like looking through DMs, and it exposed the fact that basically Ian was talking to people that like wanted to like fuck with like Worski or something. So Worski got triggered. He went at Ian. Ian got triggered, and his response was to call the cops and literally try to get him killed, as he admits in this audio. This whole dispute starting from a fucking gaming channel. Because, like, basically, Ian took the gaming channel. He took all the AdSense, so Worski was triggered. It was like this giant shit show. And Ian was just like, all right, motherfucker. I'm gonna swat your ass and get you fucking murdered. And that's the lore. Jesus Christ, dude. I love it. Like, this side of the internet produces some of the craziest stories. Like, you think some of the stories last year with commentary were, like, fucking bad, and some of them were, don't get me wrong. There are some stories on the internet where it explodes to disastrous overreactions that you just have to sit there and imagine. How does it get to this point? How do you... It's like me and Boblax doing this podcast here. We get into a little dispute, and suddenly I want to, like, send cops to murder fucking Boblax. Like, stomp him to death.
Yeah.
It's like, how does it escalate to this point?
Holy shit. Like, sometimes you just look at these internet stories and you think, like, how is any human being capable of thinking and then performing these actions? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, this isn't even the craziest shit I've seen on the internet. Obviously, there's much more crazy shit that's gone on besides this, but, like, oh my god, even this, it's just like, why, dude?
I love that, like, that last line there. Let me see if I can get it back.
So, that's not just me trying to get him killed.
Dude, that's not just me trying to get him killed, implying that that's one of the reasons why he wants to send the cops there. He's like, I'm not just trying to get him killed. I'm also trying to, send this information to the police and do the good, whatever. He wanted to get him killed. He's admitting that in the audio. Like, that's not like a chat. Is that, am I like, twisting his intentions here? Am I looking too deep into this? Or is that literally what he's admitting? Like, how else do you take that? That's not just me trying to get him killed.
Yeah. By the way, I know it's implied that I'm trying to kill him here, but hey, I don't really want him dead. I don't really want him dead. If it's a side effect, whatever.
Yeah.
But not the goal here,
Somebody in the chat says, who disliked? Who do you think?
Dude, it's Cheong, dude.
He's here, dude. Actually, I could lose my Twitter account, so...
Uh-oh. Dude, you might get swatted.
We are live on Twitter right now, so I'm
basically... You just see it, Ian Miles Cheong watching.
I'm feeding to the fire at this point. I can't... I have no one to blame but myself if I lose my account. I mean, I know what's going to happen. This is... I'm not playing it smart here. I'm totally going to get fucking ruined, but...
He's indefensible.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, Nick, people sure did try to defend him back in the day.
All right.
You more than anyone would know how indefensible he is.
He already put a disavow in the chat. Why are you fucking roasting my mans over here? Fucking hell, man. To be fair,
they make folder jokes.
To be fair, the folder jokes have lasted this long, so will Chungus. All right, it's only fair.
Yeah.
I'm not in any controversies though, so I'm fucking scot-free. right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like,
Dude,
other than
Augie's
folder,
perfect, dude.
my folder contribution
but,
is so
like,
small
genuinely.
compared to like yours, so I basically got nothing, dude. I'm clean. All right. Anyway.
Yeah,
back
I
to-
know, Nick. I'm just memeing. I know.
Back-
I
back-
know the backstory.
All right, back to the Chungus story. Why am I bringing all this old ass shit up again? This is from a year ago. Well, there's a reason for that. Because over the past year, I've noticed that every time people bring up this story, every time people remind him directly of this story, mysteriously, they start getting a bunch of tip bans on Twitter until it translates to enough tip bans until it turns into a permanent ban. I've seen this happen to 2 people now that are my friends. You've seen it happen to Lyned, and we've seen it happen to Tipster multiple times. I actually have a clip from Tipster's podcast where he talks about this more recently. Tipster's had like 5-6 accounts since then, and a few weeks ago his most recent account was banned, and he talks about this. Let's play a little bit of Tipster's thing right here.
I think there might be a Chungus among us because, you know, I noticed
A
something
Chungus
the
among
last
us.
couple times I got suspended on Twitter. First of all, let's give a little bit of backstory. Some of you guys who've been following me for a while already know this fucking story, but let me give some backstory for the new people in the crowd. The original reason I got suspended, I 100% blame on Chungus, aka Ian Miles Chung, because I have never been on Twitter, like been in trouble on Twitter. Never happened before, right? But the one time I call Ian Miles Chung out, who is not only a blue check mark, and we all know Twitter favors their blue check marks, but is also a journalist, and we all know how much they suck the fucking nuts off of journalists as well. Okay, he's both.
Fucking creepy.
Yeah. So Ian Miles Chung, early in the year, gets exposed for swatting Andy Worski.
All right, I think we've been through this. I'm going to speed it up until we get to one part.
And it's not even like it's a possible thing. Like, there's leaked audio of him talking to some e-girl he's trying to fuck, admitting to it. He's bragging about it to try and get in this girl's face. Right? So he does this thing.
I almost killed the guy once. You want to suck my dick?
Yeah, pretty much. So he gets exposed for this shit, okay? Right? And a lot of people covered it, myself included. Now, a month later, he's moral grandstanding on Twitter about how horrible it is to
All
swat
right, this is the part. So there's more grandstanding. Let's listen to this.
people. So I see this, and I get into his replies, and I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't you get exposed last month for swatting Andy Worski? And so a lot of people in the replies start asking me, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So to everybody that replies, I provide links to my videos so they could see exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. The next day, I'm locked out of my Twitter account, and it shows me all the tweets. It says you're going to be locked out for a period of a week. And it says, in order to, start the countdown, you have to delete these tweets. Guess what fucking tweets they are?
Yep.
All the fucking tweets
Ding, ding,
where
ding,
I
ding, ding.
linked my videos about him swatting Andy Worski, okay? Now, after...
Oh! Woo, woo, woo! Oh! Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Boba?
I actually wasn't paying enough attention.
Are you fucking retarded? He basically said, for all the retards that fell asleep,
Yeah.
that's a fucking diss to Tipster, by the way. Jesus, his content puts you to sleep.
No, I got distracted by the chat, the ricochet in the chat. I'm ADHD, so I'm very focused on one thing at a time.
Okay.
Tipster
To
show's
catch
great.
you up to speed, Tipster got suspended, and Twitter was basically pointing into all the tweets talking about Chungus. So Chungus flogged him, basically. Let's not call it not what it is. Chungus flogged him, alright?
Yeah. No, Tipster show's great, dude.
You're such a fucking asshole.
No, it is. I was thinking of saying that after we were done watching the clip too.
You're just sitting there
Because, dude, is fucking
yeah, Tipster show.
the way he went in on Chungus, man. I fucking love that.
Oh my god.
Sup,
And it's
Tipster.
happened to more people
Great show.
too. Like, let's pull this up right here. This is Lyned. He makes a bunch of funny Twitter memes. Also working on the site. This is my so I said something. Tipster talks about Ian Miles Chung scandals, and suddenly he's gone from Twitter again. How obvious could this get? Lynette says, my first Twitter ban came as a result of some tweets calling Ian out as well. Luckily for me, it was just a 7-day ban. Tipster, not so much. The ease with which he can get away with this bullshit And then I quote tweet that saying, Ian Miles Cheong has a contact with Twitter and a verified status, so if you call him out, he will get your account enough temp bans until a permanent ban happens for something else. Now, when I tweeted that, the part where I say he has a contact with Twitter, I basically said that, like...
Yeah, I'd like for you to take down our interview, Bo Blacks. I thought we were on better terms than this, clearly not.
Thank you, tipster. Oh my god. Now, when I tweeted that and I mentioned the Twitter contact, I basically said that like as like an assumption. Like I pretty much figured it out. I was like, yeah, he probably has a Twitter contact, but I didn't know for sure. Well, instantly I had Ralph say that's what he's heard, and I had another journalist quote tweet that and say and confirm that information as well. Now, let's take a look at this. All right. This isn't the first time I've heard of this too. All right. Now, this lady right here, she's a journalist. She wrote an article on Ian Miles Cheong too. And this morning, she dropped some very, very interesting DMs in relation to the big man himself. And this basically confirms, at the end of the day, what I've been saying. Let's pull it up. So, this is Will Chamberlain. He runs Human Events, which is the publication that Ian Miles Cheong currently writes for. Both of them are basically like conservative, like MAGA type people, basically. She wrote an article, this journalist, about Ian Miles Cheong. It's titled Ian Miles Cheong is a Monster. She talks about a lot of the stuff, a lot of his hypocrisy, a lot of, you know, the swatting, stuff like that. It's basically like a giant fucking nuke on Ian Miles Cheong, right? And so she gets hit up by Chamberlain. And he says, Ashley, would you delete this piece and refrain from talking about Ian/Human Events in public going forward? I'm asking. She says, is he no longer associated with Human Events? He says, no. And any such demand is a complete non-starter. If there are tweets or other public statements you would like to have deleted, I could make that happen. This is a good faith offer to bury the hatchet. Ian is not talking about you. She says, I have no idea what you're talking about. I asked if there was a factual inaccuracy in what I posted. I didn't demand his firing. He says, okay, is there something else precluding you from doing me a favor and deleting the article / refraining from discussing Ian and or Human Events going forward? Now, just to remind you of Ian's big hot take on freedom of speech, although I'm sure you can take a guess. I mean, he's a conservative writer. Just to point it out, this is a tweet from a few months ago, and in order to show this, I have to pull this up on a fucking incognito tab because he has me banned on Twitter. He says, according to this leftist, only people with correct opinion should be allowed to speak because having a right to your own independent opinion is fascism. Excuse me, but what the fuck? Leftists are calling for suppression of free speech and claiming that free speech enables fascism. Okay, so you can obviously tell his position here. Then why, Mr. Free Speech, are you sending people to remove critical articles written about you? And why does every time somebody has a hot take on you, whether it be a YouTuber or a fucking meme account with 200 followers, why do these accounts mysteriously disappear? Like, how obvious could it get at this point? Does he honestly expect people not to see what's going on here? Who the fuck is following Ian Miles Cheong and thinking he is an honest, credible journalist who believes in free speech? Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. His previous online history has him all over the map. Like, he's got like stuff from like the early 2000s where he's talking about being a Nazi. Admittedly, I think that stuff's a joke or whatever. Then he's going full SJW. Then he became like he got red pilled or something like that. He's all over the map. And you can have a difference of opinion. That's not what I'm, arguing. But I'm just saying, it doesn't take a retard to look at all this shit and figure out that this guy does not give a fuck about any set value principles. He doesn't care. He's a grifter. He's there to pull in the clicks and make the money. That's what he's there for. He's not real.
Yeah.
And he's also a sociopath on top of that, so it's not a good mix.
Yeah. You can obviously tell, like, when... Because usually if people, like, legitimately switch political sides, like, from left to right or right to left, they, like, keep some attributes of the previous side. Like, there's
it's not
obviously,
like
some
overnight
nuance
thing either.
in
It's
their...
like, through the course of several months, you start to gradually shift to a different position You don't just like wake up one day in SJW and then the next day you're like, yeah, I'm fucking base now. No.
Yeah,
But-
there's usually like some nuance of opinion, but like if you look at any of Ian Miles Chung's tweets, it's like all like super conservative, like typical talking points, etc. Which is fine to have if it's his genuine opinion, but just based off his history, it's not. So
Well, it's also, you can't be free speech guy.
yeah, and you can't be
But
free speech.
working for a fucking publication where the owner of that publication is getting critical pieces of you taken down. How do you stand for a set value of principles working for a place like that? I'll tell you the answer. There are no principles, all right? Let's remind us what we're talking, let's remind ourselves what we're talking about. This is a journalist, an online journalist.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So really, nobody should act surprised. Nobody should look at this and be like, oh, wow, dude, big exposed or something. I mean, you can tell from the start. The only reason why I find this interesting is that he's going after people that I know. People that help me out. You know, like all the news channels on YouTube. Me, Memeology, Pescator, Bo Blacks, fucking Tommy, Nick, Tipster. You know, we all work together generally. Like, sometimes, like, I'll hit people up and ask them for help and shit. Optimus, he's another person who's willing to help. All these people, like, work together. Tipster being one of them. So when Tipster is nuked out of orbit on Twitter, not only am I upset about that because, you know, Tipster's the homie and shit, and he's getting deplatformed, but it's also, like, it affects me in a way, right? Because it makes it harder for me to see what Tipster's talking about. It makes it harder for me to be able to contact Tipster, because always, you know, we got Discord and stuff. I mean, it's not like we're out of contact with them, but it's just another way that we can reach out to him that's now taken away because this guy is a fucking flagger. All right, when you're taking out, like, Lina does some really, like, he needs to do more videos, but he does, like when there's, like, a big, like, story going on, he's not bad at researching shit. He is not bad. Never forget, during the D'Angelo Turkey Tom situation, he wrote this whole spreadsheet documenting all of D'Angelo's hot takes and opinions and pinpointing his controversies, all right? It's autistic, the amount of research he does on this shit, but it is valuable. It helps us. So when Chungus is taking these guys out, it's not just me getting, like, pissed off for the sake of other people. At some level, I'm also affected by that, right? And it also affects me because now I know, okay, there is now a topic I can't talk about because I could risk losing my Twitter account. Fuck that, alright? Fuck that. I'll talk about whatever the hell I want. I'm not gonna sit here and let these giant fucking loser, fucking retard grifters tell me what to talk about. And Chungus knows who I am. Maybe he doesn't remember me, but I can pull up my alternate Twitter. And we can see he's talked about me before. Let me find this. Yeah, so this is... I remember I tweeted at him back in... When did I tweet this? Back in March. I tweeted at him. There it is. I said, how's your journalism career going, Ian? This is when Tipster was going at him. So I tweeted him. I take a little shot or whatever. He didn't quote tweet that. He didn't fucking own me with some epic take or make fun of me. That would have been kind of funny, depending on what he said. I would have been like, okay, fair enough. You know, I'll throw some shade your way, you throw shade back. You know, it's fair. He runs to his Discord server. Now, this was sent to me in May. So 2 months later, he digs this shit up. I don't know why. Maybe somebody in his server was talking. Maybe I don't know why they would. I mean, back in May, I had like what? I just passed 1,000 subs or something like that. So it's not like I was like booming, I was like exploding and he had to respond to me. He just randomly pulls up a 2-month-old tweet from me. So he pulls this shit up and he didn't quote tweet it, he posts it in his Discord server. I'm assuming this is his, this could be a private one, I don't know. So, whoever leaked it to me said like, don't reveal my name and don't reveal that I did this, just keep me anonymous. So it might have been his private one for all I know, I don't know. But he says, better than his YouTube career. Speaking of which, I have 25,000 more subs than he does on YouTube. So what the fuck is he on? Get the fuck out of here. He's getting fucking triggered at my tweet. I swear to God. It's just like, why? Why does this guy get so fucking ass mad? Now, I'm glad he didn't fucking flag me out of existence, alright? That's one thing. But it just goes to show the level of ass hurt. You know, I make a tweet at him. 2 months later, he replies. Come on now. Oh, my God. I don't know. Hey, I just fucking, give me a second here. I just fucking ripped my headphones off. My headphones break sometimes, so I gotta, like, snap that shit back together. They're, like, scuffed as fuck. Okay, I put them back on. Sorry. Sometimes, like, my headphones will, like, come off, so I gotta, like, fucking snap that shit back together. Anyway. All that being said, this guy is a fucking loser. And he's also a sociopath. Alright, let's not, you know, twist it. I mean, if he's willing to get people fucking killed over beef, regardless of how serious the beef is, I mean, I struggle to see any situation where, like, you know, getting the other guy murdered by police is justified or, like, a reasonable response. And it's not like he said, like, in a fit of anger or something, he was like, oh, fuck Worski, I'm gonna get him murdered, or I'm gonna murder him, or something. He just said that, like, in a fit of rage, and then, that, like, he was like, wait, okay, never mind. He, like, intended to do this. He took the steps that he thought was necessary to get this goal accomplished, alright? He took it to the next level. So let's not forget that either. Alright, but yeah, that's Memeology.